It's really been 2 months since I last did a Let's Talk Tropes video. I am embarrassed and ashamed. Hello everybody, my name is Danny, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the long dormant Let's Talk Tropes series. Today, the trope I will be talking about is the Big Fancy Castle, which, as you can imagine, is about castles. It's pretty self-explanatory. So without further ado, let's just get talking some examples of this trope. Obviously, I'm going to start off by talking about Disney princess movies, because they're just great examples of this trope, from classics like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty all the way up to more modern ones like Frozen. There's just big fancy castles in a lot of Disney princess movies. Princesses tend to live in castles, a lot of the villain characters have their castles, they're all over the place. Even the Disney logo is a castle, so I don't really think I need to go too in-depth on this example. Next, I want to talk about two different Studio Ghibli films. The first is Castle in the Sky, which I think is a really cool example of this trope because the titular castle isn't just a castle, it's like a fortress and a sanctuary, and this one has a very special place in my heart. Very sentimental about it because I used to watch this movie so much as a kid. My three favorite Studio Ghibli movies growing up were Castle in the Sky, Spirited Away, and Kiki's Delivery Service, so I had to mention one of them in this video, the one with the castle in it. The other Studio Ghibli movie I want to talk about is Howl's Moving Castle. Even though his castle doesn't quite look like a castle, it's called a castle, so I'm talking about it. And this one is interesting because it has legs, and that's how it walks around. And it very much reminds me of the Baba Yaga, which is a character in Slavic folk tales. And the Baba Yaga is kind of like an old crone, like a witch character. And she travels in her house that stands on chicken legs. So you can see where Howl's Moving Castle kind of is similar to that. Then I wanted to bring up Castlevania and Dracula's Castle, and I wanted to bring this up after Howl's Moving Castle because, like Howl's, Dracula's castle moves around, only it doesn't walk around on legs, it kind of just flashes different places in like a lightning strike kind of thing, and it's really cool. I really love the way they do this in the show, and structurally the castle is just very unique and has a recognizable silhouette, so different from any other castle that I've seen in media. And Castlevania is actually based on a video game, and another video game that has quite a few castles is the Mario franchise, and Bowser has his castles, but Peach also has her own. And so it's really cool how this trope can be used for the protagonist or the antagonist. The big fancy castle isn't just for like one specific kind of character to own. It can be a place of good or a place of evil, a place of neutrality even. It's very versatile, and castles are just really cool, so I think you should implement them. Then I just want to talk about two different examples of something kind of like this trope that doesn't really use castles, but similar to a castle. So the first is Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas, and I think this fits the big fancy castle trope because Catherine House itself is a school, and the way Elizabeth Thomas describes it in her book, it's this huge sprawling entity, and there's a lot of personification that goes on, and the house itself plays a huge role in the story, and I think that's just really, really cool and a nice twist on this trope. It's not just a place, it's a character in and of itself. And then there is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. It's also not a castle despite the title, it is a big family mansion, but like Catherine House, the mansion in the story is an entity in itself, and I'm just a really big sucker for that gothic feeling, and this is a really good story, and if you're into the spooky gothic vibes, definitely check it out. And last but not least, I want to talk about my own story, Revelry in the Dark, because we know that I like to mention my own writing when I do these trope videos to show you how I implement them myself. And so in Revelry in the Dark, there is a castle called Castle Blackscar, and it is the biggest, most identifiable feature of Westwood University, which is where my characters attend school. And I try to get those gothic vibes going, like Catherine House and We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and it's just something that it's very atmospheric, and it's very loosely inspired by the university that I went to, which had a very beautiful castle on campus, though the real life inspiration is not nearly as sprawling and all encompassing as the one in my story. In my story, Castle Blackscar is definitely a much bigger feature, a much bigger part of the university than the real life inspiration is. And that is it for the big fancy castle trope. Let me know down below what your favorite castles in media are, or your favorite castles in real life. That's cool too. I especially love Neuschwanstein Castle in Germany. I think it's absolutely stunning. And as always, you can give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and feel free to subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I will see you in the next video. Bye!